Okay, so now to read our request data in our server file, we are first of all going to rename this file into a .php extension. So what this will allow us to do is to write PHP markup inside this script. So I'm going to open the tags that define a PHP script, and then we can now start typing our code. So let me reduce this so that we can have enough space here. Most often we'll be using the name attribute here. Is that okay? The name attribute here provides the value for the form elements. So to echo or output what the form elements holds, I'll just type echo, then I'll use a method called var_dump. This will return the type and value stored in our super global variable as post. Okay, this is made possible via the method here post. The HTTP header here is post. So when we submit, our form data to PHP, we are going to use s or $_post to be able to read the data that is stored in this form. So if I go ahead and click on, okay, fine, let me refresh. Okay, and I can fill Samad and then Canton. The email address is Canton404 and the password says 2021. Now you can see we have a set of associative array. Is that okay? Containing the field or what is called the form name here. Is that okay? I mean the element here, the form element name. So the first name corresponds to this, and then the value or the type is a string with a value of Samad. Is that okay? So this is an associative array, just like we have an object in JavaScript. This is made possible via the var_dump method. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and define distinct variables to hold our form data elements. The f name is what to hold our first name value. Okay, so I'm going to go inside and target the f name. Remember, this is an associative array. The s post here will always return an associative array. So I'm going to do that for the remaining three controls, which we have as the l name, the email, and the password. pwd. Okay, so but before that, if I should just go ahead and refresh this form, you see we have an error here. Is that okay? This is because we have not submitted the form and we are trying to echo or let me just say target the form elements values. Is that okay? In PHP, it doesn't work that way. So to do this, to handle this case, we'll just have to enclose this in an if condition, and then I will place this in the body of the if condition. And so now I'm going to use another method. The method here I'm going to use is called a set. A set here allows us to check if a variable or a value is present in our headers, our request. Let me just say our request. So if a set, then again we need to check if this submit button has been pressed. But then remember I told you that PHP uses the name attribute. Is that okay? So I'm going to give it a name here, submit. And then I'm going to use that value here to check if submit. I cannot just come here and place this. No, I'll have to use that super global variable s post or s underscore $_post. Then inside of it, I'll place the string submit. So now if I refresh, you see that our errors are gone because we have not submitted the form. Now we have other HTTP method types like $_get, $_request, and then $_server, and a whole lot. But for the purpose of this tutorial, we are going to be using the post, and then later on we'll be using the get method. Is that okay? So now let's see. We have been able to read our data. Is that okay? So that is that for step 5. Now step 6 is demonstrate the basic server-side validation of the data. So what we are going to do here is to introduce another method. Is that okay? So that method is called a set or empty. Okay, we have already looked at a set. So now we are going to combine a set and empty to check if a variable has been provided or a certain value is present in the data. All right, so how do we do this? So now we open our, start off with our a set and then open a brackets. Inside of it, I'm going to put the f name and also make sure that it is not empty. So this symbol here, the apostrophe here, signifies not. Is that okay? In most programming languages, especially for PHP. So I'm again going to post this inside this. Then we can see assign the variable the value to this variable. Let me close this here so that we can have enough view. Else you return an array with a key called error and a value that you are going to pass as field or first name required. First name required. So I'll do that for the remaining controls. I'll just copy this and paste it here. Okay, but this is for L name. Is that okay? So L name here and L here. Yeah. So last name is required. This is for email, and then we can say email is required. That will be the exception that will be thrown when the user hasn't filled or provided any email. Then the PWD here will have an error message of password required. Is that okay? So let me just add an apostrophe here to make sure that it's important or it's of essence. So let me add this a set here because that is what we are using to check if the variable or the value is present in the request. So now we have introduced a validation. Is that okay? So how do we test this out? Let's see if we take off the required here and then we say okay, we click on this, you can see nothing is shown because we are not echoing out anything. So down here I'm just going to come, or let me just go ahead and do it and display it under each form control. So under here I'm just going to open a PHP code block or code tag. Okay, so I'm just going to say echo. So I'm going to say if, then I'm going to use a comparison operator here. Okay, so now if a set, or let me just say if not empty, if not empty f name, or a set, I can use a set here as well, and then is array. Okay, this is also another method to help us check, because we are saying that if you assign the value of whatever has been typed here to the first name, else you should just return this array. Is that okay? This is an array here. So if it's array, then we know that certainly the user hasn't, has defaulted in providing the requested values. Is that okay? Or following the guidelines. So now we'll just target the variable which is f name. Then now we can say, okay, using this coalescing operator, let's see if we can echo out the f name and then we'll target the error key. Is that okay? So now let me submit. Okay, we have one here. Is that okay? All right. So then I'm going to, one here signifies that it's true. So let me use a ternary operator. You return this, else you return nothing. So if I should go ahead and submit, it's saying first name is required. You have seen that it's saying first name is required. Okay, that is fine. So now I'm going to do that for the remaining controls, but then I would like to put this in, another tag here called a span. Is that okay? So I can just introduce a string here because I'm going to return an HTML markup here. So span, and then I'm going to paste this inside and take off this single quotes here because it will be invalid. Okay, so now let me submit. Okay, I have the same thing. Now I need to give this span a class. Is okay? So I can give it a class of error. Sorry, because I will need to style it. I will open my CSS that I've just reduced or closed here, and I will target the error class by preceding it with a dot and then providing the property values for such a class. Okay, so background of red and then color of white. Okay, so if I refresh and then I click, okay, now you can see we have if I submit, saying first name is required. Okay, so let's duplicate that for the remaining controls. I'll take this here and I'll do the same thing for the remaining three controls because we want to validate the entire controls of our form element. So this is L name, then we have the email, okay, and then the password. pwd. All right, so if I should just sign up, okay, now you see that we have, I think the message for the last name, that is the exception message, is wrong here. This is supposed to be okay. Last name is required, L name. So this should be L name here. Okay, fine. So when we go ahead and sign up, we see we have the validation flag shown to the user. All right, so that is all for the validation. Now, number 7, our activity 7 here is to store our validated data in MySQL database. All right, so we are going to pause here, and in the next video, then I'm going to show you how you are going to connect to MySQL database, create your database, create your entities or your tables, and then we'll look at how to save or store information in MySQL. Is that okay? So see you. Bye bye.